the next topic that we'll be discussing is external drivers of supply chain performance. So, what are the factors that are driving for a better supply chain performance? So, in what way you can have a better supply chain performance? There are different factors that will be affecting you, and these are some of the major things. The first thing where you can have a better performance of supply chain is nothing but an inventory. See, we have been talking about inventory. What kind of inventory? What is an inventory? Is nothing but the products that are having produced by the manufacturers and or the suppliers, and they are having a stock that is available with them. So, what these people are actually working with? These people are working with goods, the products that they are manufacturing and ready to sell to the final end user. Those people are nothing but the customers. So, when we talk about inventory, so the raw materials, the work in progress and finished good within the supply chain. So, when we talk about supply chain, we are including all this inventory, the raw material inventory, the work in progress inventory or the manufacturing inventory, everything comes under inventory until the raw material good is completely transferred to a finished product and ready to sell that product to the customers. So, inventory policies can dramatically change the supply chain. So, what effect we are having? Imagine the contracts or the policies or the agreements that is there between the inventory management and also the suppliers or the manufacturers are very important. They play a vital role in having a very good and a clean supply chain performance. See, ultimately, whenever as a manufacturing industry owner, what I want my products to be performed well, I want my products to be sold well, right? And I want to make profitable business out of my organization. So that's what we are talking about here. So managing this inventory and maintaining this inventory helps us to achieve our goals, whatever we were planning in initial form, right? So why we are holding inventory? So there are certain reasons why we have to majorly focus on inventory and why we are holding inventory. The first one is unexpected changes in the customer demand. Whenever I produce a product and I manufacture a product, the customers are liking it so much and the demand for that particular product is drastically improving, like drastically going up. So what they have to do as a manufacturer, when the demand is high, I need to start producing my products so much. The production should go double or a triple. So what happens when you have to produce n number of products, or the contract was like 100 products, but right now what we are doing, we are producing 1,000 products in the same month. So I have never predicted this can happen. But the product was doing so well in the market, so it increased drastically. The demand for that particular product has been increased. Correct. So at that kind of situations, so this inventory will be helping. Okay, this inventory will play a vital role and it will support the organization not to fail the customer's demand, right? Then always hard to predict and uncertainty is growing. See, the same thing, I was not expecting. It was a sudden surprise that my product is doing well in the market and the demand for that particular product has gone very up. Then short product life cycles. This also plays a vital role. You need to understand what is the product and how you are using that particular product. Like imagine you're dealing with milk products or perishable products. So something which can be perished in certain amount of time. Now you cannot produce that product for a excess quantity. You need to produce that only on the basis of demand. Correct? Why? Because what happens if you start working or start building excess quantity? So it gets perished and you will be into losses. Non-perishable goods. Okay, these are nothing but you can produce in a bulk and then store it in your warehouses because it has a longer life cycle. But certain products does not have a longer life cycle, it has a shorter life cycle. Depending upon the nature of the product, you need to understand what and where it needs to be done, right? Then uncertain supply. So uncertain supply is nothing but you need to understand how the supply is happening. Imagine my product is not doing well, but my inventory contract or manufacturing contract, it is in such a way, or I have designed it in such a way that every month 100 products will be manufactured. But what is happening? Even 10 products are not being sold in the market. So who will be at the loss? You will be at the loss. So you need to understand the market cycle, the sales cycle, and also the nature of the product, and also how the sales are happening. So is it needed for me to produce more number of products, or should I put a break over here and then wait? So you need to understand all these factors, and inventory plays a vital role over here in giving the customers this need of the product when it is high in demand. Then inventory impact. What is the impact this maintenance of inventory or having it in a warehouses, why it is playing a vital role in supply chain performance? So that's what we will be seeing here, right? Inventory can increase amount of demand. See, when there is a high demand, I need to have the products to sell this high demand. If I don't satisfy my customers, then what is the point? I'm not satisfying my customers. So the main goal of you started selling the product or manufacturing the product itself is going down. So I need to maintain a little background or a little storage in my department, so that whenever there is a high demand, I can fulfill the customer's need. So meet by the increasing product availability. I need to have this product availability all the time, right? So that I can give the customer satisfaction. Right? Inventory can reduce cost by exploring economies of scales in production, transportation, and purchasing. Let's take an example. I have a product and I'm saving certain product in my warehouse. Okay, and all of a sudden, due to some floods and all, certain economies have rose up so high that the cost of that raw material itself went high, and the raw material availability itself is not there. So what happens? But my customers are continuously placing orders, and they are ready to pay a little more amount, or they are ready to purchase my product at a higher level as well. But if I am unable to satisfy their need, again, as a company, I'm going down. As a company, I'm failing to meet my customer needs. So I need to have a basic inventory in my warehouse saved, right? Then inventory can be used to support a firm's competitive strategy. So this is also one of the strategy. Competitive strategy means there are so many industries that are available out there who are your competitors. Then how you will stand out? Simple. Maintain some inventories, maintain some stock with you, the product that you are purchasing with the right quality, and keep it available to the customers all the time, even when the situations are bad, even when the economies are going up and down, and even when things are not doing good. So what happens? You always have your strategies in your hand, and also winning against your competitors, right? Then more inventory increases responsiveness, less inventory increases efficiency, right? More inventory, it has a good responsiveness, you are always saved and you are always stress free. But less inventory, it always creates the stress. The more demand, you get stressed out. The more demand in the market, you need to pressurize your suppliers, you need to pressurize your employees to manufacture the product, you need to keep on rushing on the things. So you need to understand where it needs to be done and how it needs to be done, when cost can be saved. And imagine there is a high demand. What happens? There is no people to work in your manufacturing industry, so you need to hire new people with a higher cost, right? So but you have a planning of putting the stock in your warehouse or saving certain inventory. Then what happens? At a regular cost, you're saving a lot of amount as in manufacturing industry, right? So you need to understand, you need to place strategies in such a way there is a minimal cost and a higher profit. So like inventory, we also have transportation. So there are certain these factors, maintaining them properly, having good connections with these departments is very important for your product to have a success in the market, right? When you produce a product, it is just in the manufacturing unit, right? When you talk about inventory, transportation, and logistics, everything comes under how your manufactured product smoothly going to the final end user customer in the same quality that the manufacturer had produced. So all of this process comes under supply chain and supply chain performance improvements, right? Then we have transportation. See, transportation plays a vital role. Wherever you manufacture the product, it needs to be transported to the final end user customer. Then transportation allows the supply chain to be more responsive but generally less efficient. So it gives a more responsive. That means it is more responsible in the manufacturing industry, in any organizations where the sales needs to happen, right? And less efficient. If you don't have a good transportation people or this proper logistics team, what happens is the efficiency of this transportation will go down. If the efficiency go down, the quality of the product that you have produced may go down, and the customer may not be satisfied with the product that they are purchasing, which will finally affect the goodwill of the organization, right? Now, less than a full truckload, supply chain to be more responsive but generally less efficient. See, less than a truckloads. So, less than a truckloads is nothing but when your products are not enough to be filled in one particular transportation field, what happens is it will be combined and the efficiency or the quality of the product may go down because of less in number. But you have a complete load filled, what happens is whenever transportation is happening, it will have a good amount that is stored and the transportation can happen efficiently, right? Transportation can be used to support a firm's competitive strategy. Again and again, whenever you take all of these supply chain external factors, what will happen? It will plays a vital role in the competitive strategy. It helps to improve your competitive strategy, right? It is important. Why? Because when your transportation team is not great, when your transportation is not happening properly, what will happen? Competitors will win because they have a good transportation and logistics team, right? So their delivery is high and your delivery is having some disturbances. So it is important how you select your transportation team and how it is being delivered, right? Then customers may demand and willing to pay a high value. So this is what we are talking about. If there is no inventory, what is the point? Customer is ready to pay a higher value. They just need the product. That's it. You should be able to produce the product. You should be able to be available with the product. And also you should be having a proper transportation team who is ready to transport this particular your product to the final end user. Understood? So it is very important. Then modes of transportation. So this is what we generally talk about, which mode of transportation you need to transport your products. Imagine it is perishable good and it needs to be transported or it needs to be delivered to the customer in just 24 hours, or else the goods get spoiled, okay, and the nature of the goods no longer be in the same position, okay. Like imagine, let's say I want to order ice cream, okay, and shall I give 24 hours to deliver the ice cream to me? No, right? How much time? So from the supplier to my home, how much time it should be so that the ice cream stays in its original condition? So let's think about it. So it needs to be put it in ice bags where nature of the product is not disturbed, and it is traveled and it is delivered in hardly like less than 30 minutes or 20 minutes, right? So that the nature of the product is not spoiled. Correct. So, who is working here? Transportation team is working here, and other necessary measures are taken because your product is melting or your product has a nature of melting. What we are doing? We are taking a precautions to keep the nature of the product intact. Okay, and the supplier and the customer, and all of this includes a certain monetary value and the interest of need of that particular product, right? When all these things are coming together, one product is made, manufactured, sold, and also received by the customer, and also the transportation team is involved. Now tell me, do we use airways for this? No. We use a roadways or a person who is ready to deliver it to you via roadways, correct? Through vehicles or something, right? So now imagine I want to deliver the same products or the bulk quantity to some other country. So what do? I take an airways. There are waterways as well. Which kind of products we generally go through waterways? So we need to know the contracts, we need to know the tenure by when the customer needs the product and how much they are ready to pay or the value for that particular product, and the urgency of the product, the need of the product, and the availability that you are having, and also the transportation availability. By considering all these factors, one supply chain management or the supply chain manager decides where and when the product can be delivered and how the order can be considered, right? Like imagine I need waterways and I need the product to be delivered in 2 days. It doesn't happen. So it should be actual form where everything will be in place, right? All the factors, all the segments, all the problems or all the factors needs to be in place, and then only one product can be delivered to the end user, right? There are different modes of transportation, that is airways, truck, rail, ship, then pipelines and electronics, etc. These are basic transportations that we use where one product can be delivered to the end user. Right, then each mode differ with respect to speed, size of the shipments, and cost and flexibility. This is what we were talking about: the speed, the time, the availability, and the cost that the customer is ready to afford for that particular mode of shipment, right? Like in-house or outsource in transportation function, like these are nothing but, in-house function or outsource function is nothing but I am reaching out to a third party, right? And the third party is trying to or ready to do services for me. Okay, that is nothing but I'm outsourcing it. I don't have a team, I don't have a transportation team. What I'm doing is I'm reaching out to a third party where it is a transportation department or it is a transportation company, and I'm aligning with that transportation company and asking that transportation company to deliver the goods that I have produced. I'm outsourcing that, right? In-house is nothing but I also have a transportation department in my own organization which will run through my instructions. So these are certain differences, and depending upon the company size, we do in-housing and outsourcing. When we do outsourcing, we need to understand which transportation team we are working with and how efficiently they are dealing with it, and the policies and the agreements that we both are having, are they flexible or not, right? All these things comes into major segment when we talk about transportation. So the next topic is facilities. So what are the facilities that are available when we consider it under supply chain management, right? Inventory is sorted, assembled. See, you need to have a facilities, or you need to have a situation where your inventory needs to be sorted, it needs to be assembled. See, if I don't do this sorting and assembling, what happens? You have inventory, you have a warehouse to store, but everything is so messy, everything is so disturbed that older products be in the inventory, be in the warehouse for a longer time, and the new products keep on selling or keep on shipping. Okay, you need to have a storage mechanism in such a way that when the product is delivered, when the requirement is there, everything needs to be intact, or else what happens is the expiry of that particular product happens and you will lose a lot of money in that production, right? You need to understand when and where the product needs to be sold, right? Then decisions on location, capacity, flexibility of facilities have a significant impact on performance, right? We need to understand the nature of the product, location, performance, all of these comes under facilities, and how flexible are they to get it shipped or to reach to the final customers, right? Then facilities impact. Facilities either store inventory between supply chain stages, where we are storing these, warehouse, distribution centers and retailers, or transform inventory into another state, fabrication and assembling parts. So what is happening is, where these facilities are there, where the facilitations are happening. Facilitations are nothing but making things easy for us. So those segments are nothing but facilitations or facilities. Okay. Now, as a manufacturing industry, to store an inventory, I need a facility. And what is that facility? Warehouse is the facility. Okay. And in warehouse, we need a facility of sorting that inventory. Okay, you need to store the products in such a way that you are not losing or you're not only using the new products but also consuming the older products first and then going to the new batch of products which are produced. So you need to have such kind of mechanism or such kind of facilitation, right? And where are the other places? One is warehouse that we are discussing. We have distribution centers also. From warehouse, distribution centers will take the products and put it in there. Like imagine I have a warehouse, and from warehouse it is going to different locations, right? Where they are going, those are called distribution centers. So from my warehouse, certain some portions are going to different locations, and from distribution centers they are going to the retailers, right? So depending upon the location and the size, these are transferred to the distribution centers. There also you have facilities. It is easy for retailers to buy. So from where I will buy a product? From retailers. From where retailers will buy a product? From distributors. And distributors maintain their product in distribution centers, and they collect the product from warehouses. From where warehouses will get the product? As a manufacturing unit, I will save all my manufactured products in warehouses. Every people or every segment is interlinked with each other. So then we are having centralization of facilities, like it helps in fewer locations and less inventory. Usually expense of responsiveness, distance for the customers, everything is reduced because of these facilitations, right? Final end user wants to buy it from the warehouse, he has to travel all the way to the warehouse, and also he will be purchasing only one particular product, right? And it is a loss for him and also to the warehouse, because they have to sell only one product and they have to only deal with one customer. So all of this is a long process. But if I want to buy it from a retailer, I'll just go out and just take the product. I don't have to travel, I don't have to do the research, I don't have to search for the place, nothing. I just go to a retail and then get the product. So how all of these are maintained, how all cost efficient is done, and how every stage, how cost has been increased, or for that particular product the cost has been designed, everything comes into the picture and facilitations, right? Then facility decisions locations, centralized to gain economies of scale, to decentralized to be more responsive. Other issue include quality and cost of the workers, cost of the facility infrastructure. It is more important. What are the issues that we see under facilities? Other issues include quality and cost of the workers. The quality of the product should be in the same manner. It should not get disturbed. Okay. And cost of the workers. So there are so many workers that are involved in these facilitations, and those costs are also included. Cost of facility infrastructure. Where the facilitations are happening, how they are happening, how the infrastructure is built to keep the quality of the product intact. All this comes under facility decisions. Taxes, quality of life, etc. Quality of life is nothing but the product life, and the taxes are nothing but the taxes that are imposed while transportation, while from one state to the other state when delivery is happening. All that taxes are included in taxation, right? Then excess capacity allows company to be more responsive to change the level of demand, but the expensive or efficiency. So when there is a high demand, when there is so much of demand and so much of need for your particular product, so also the organization should make certain changes. So what kind of changes? They need to change the taxes, they need to look for a better transportation department, better storage departments, like how efficiently they can store their products without losing the quality of the product. All this comes under inventory. Inventory, facilitations, warehousing, transportations, all these are interlinked with each other to have a better performance of supply chain management.